Yo, guys. Okay, so we're going to talk about how any expert can actually have like hundreds of clients every single month. And this method, by the way, is used across all of the world now, actually. It's a very popular method, and actually, biggest the names that you're probably going to recognize is like Jeremy Miner that's actually using this, also Cole Gordon, and there's so many experts, and I've underscored expert here just to bring you up to speed of who qualifies. Obviously, there should be like hundreds of more pictures in here, but it will just give you a concept of just so you understand if this is actually valuable to you. But in general, no matter if it's like if you're a singer or if, for instance, you're a consultant or psychologist, yeah, or I draw the dancer, but you get the point. As long as you have some certain expertise that you can actually convey to another person, this is going to be super good for you. Yeah, and maybe you've seen this method, maybe you haven't, but I'll walk you through it, and it's super. Nowadays, people are catching on more than ever because ad costs and everything is going up. Even if you're like a relationship coach or, for instance, Jeremy Myers, a sales coach. He helps companies build teams, sales forces, and etc. If you're a fitness coach or a fitness expert, yeah, or a math teacher or a trading guy or an artist, or like Jeremy Meyer, you do consulting on business development, etc. All of these are indicators that this can actually help you. I'm going to give you also some traits that can indicate why this method right here has been very powerful for many experts, coaches, consultants, etc. So first of all, it has little to no cost, very low CAC. If anybody doesn't know what CAC is, it's cost per acquiring customer. It has very low, like for instance, when you do social media, for instance, when you like, for instance, dance on TikTok or like I'm dancing, for instance, on YouTube right now. Yeah, it's called social media marketing. Usually you have zero to no CAC when it comes to those platforms. And it's very profitable in that matter. Yeah, if you actually get a client from social media, it's very profitable for the business because you're paying little to no money. And usually you can charge those people a lot more just because they have consumed your content and trust you more. And this method right here, it's not going to be social media. It's going to be a bit different. I'm going to explain it in just a second. But it has little to no costs because you're actually liquidating all of the spend that you're making. And so that means it has very low to none CAC, or even it can be profitable at times. Second nature is that it has very high response rates because people are actually purchasing things from you. And usually there's like a honeymoon phase, like 7 to 14 days. It's actually like a honeymoon phase. It means that the response rate to your emails is very high. It means if you're actually talking to the clients over the phone, it means that there's more likely that they're going to jump on calls, and there's like a higher chance to convert them, essentially what I'm trying to say. You don't have to arm wrestle them into sale, also because they have actually bought something. They are actually quite qualified, but they also have consumed some content from you. Usually, and there's a research behind this, I don't know exact data, but like it proves that like for a client to convert, they have to consume, I don't know if it was like around 7 content pieces of you actually giving value or sharing, so they can actually trust you and do the purchase. Here, obviously, if they're buying something, they're probably consuming quite a lot of content most of the time. And and bear with me, I'm going to explain what I mean by that. But yeah, this leads into the second point, that there's also very high conversion rates. So why is this method so powerful? Just to summarize, there's very low CACs, meaning it costs you very little money to actually get clients. Second of all, there's honeymoon phase, meaning they're warm. I'm going to draw some flames here somewhere. Yeah, that's not money, that's flames, so warmth. And the third thing is there's high conversion rates, meaning it's easier to sell these people. Yeah, so this means you actually get money. Yeah, quite easier. For instance, let me just draw an arrow up here and arrow down here. Yeah, just so you get lower CAC, easier to convert them. There's honeymoon phase, they're welcoming. And you don't have to chase them. Yeah, it's awesome. It really is. Usually you can charge higher prices to these people, and a lot of good stuff coming in from here. Okay, let's move on. How does this method work? So first of all, obviously we use ads. Ads nowadays, the expenses of ads are becoming more and more. Yeah, advertising costs and CPMs are increasing as the time goes on, but this method solves that issue. Yeah, so just like a lot of people in the industry, we use Facebook and Instagram ads. But the good thing is that that's only a way how we drive traffic to our low ticket funnels. Our low ticket funnels is landing pages that actually convert people into buyers. The good stuff about low ticket landing pages is that they basically can concisely explain the concept, explain what is the product and how can it actually help them. Usually they're sold anywhere between I usually advise my clients to sell it anywhere from 9 to 59. It really depends on the niche. Usually if your niche is every person can benefit from it, I usually tend to say for my customers to go higher prices. If your niche is like, for instance, business to business, for instance, or usually business to business, then in those scenarios I usually advise to go lower price, because lower price to those business in those instances where there's business to business, you usually want to convert as many as you can and to build more trust, because they usually you can sell them high tickets on the front end. Although when it comes to for instance, everyday person, you can get more money up front because there's more of those people in the pond, so to say. And at the same time, yes, you have to sell the high ticket lower cost, but most of the time there's never ending amount of those people. But okay, so step one, we run ads. I'll explain in detail what do we talk in the ads and what are they about. Then there's landing page. Landing page usually is either one step or two step. And then we get contacts. And usually we get also money instantly in our accounts. Obviously, Stripe is interconnected in all of this. Stripe is the way we take payments, and all of the money obviously comes around in like 4 to 7 days back into your accounts. Simultaneously, we get people in the account. We get people that, for instance, didn't purchase. Yeah, and then there's people that actually did make a purchase. And usually there's like a connection between these. Yeah, like for instance, leads can still be followed up with. So basically you get it's like a glorified lead generation machine. Yeah, you get both low ticket purchase, which is a person that bought a digital good. Usually the digital good warms them up. Yeah, forgot to mention that inside these funnels, we have the digital good. The digital good, I'll explain in better detail. But just so what you have to understand is that you get a bunch of different leads. You either get people that left their information but didn't buy, or you get people that actually bought, and maybe there's some people that actually bought upsells, bumps, downsells, and a lot of good stuff of those. But yeah, so usually you're spending similar to what you would spend on regular basis, like 20, 30 bucks. This system actually converts really, really well under pressure, meaning it actually lives very healthily under hundreds of dollars on spend. So that's cool. Okay, but let's talk about each step in better detail. Let's talk about ads first. When it comes to ads, we just want to mostly talk about problem. Probably a lot of you have heard about the awareness triangle, or I don't actually remember exactly how it's called. But in general, you want to go for the whole thing is that only 3% of your market is actually ready to buy. And those people usually are the most aware of the problem, and they're like the warmest of the warm. Yeah. And usually in these ads, you don't want to go for that crowd, because then you're going to be running out of people really soon. Yeah. You want to go for you don't want to also go for completely unaware, which is the most amount of people here. I don't know if I can actually dial it down a bit. Yeah, I can. You don't want to also go for unaware, because those people are super hard to convince that there is even a problem that they have to fix. You usually want to go for in between, you want to take all of this obviously, but you want to go also for this. Yeah. And what does this mean? You just want to, most of the time these are going to be problem aware people. and unaware of people that don't even know that the problem exists. Like, let's say, for instance, this is one of my clients in Europe, Gabriel Romeo. He helps people basically learn jazz guitar. Yeah. So, for instance, unaware would be even probably be a person that doesn't have a jazz guitar, and you basically would be saying like something along the lines like, "Do you want to learn jazz guitar?" And and to learn it, buy this digital product that's called Jazz Guitar Guide. Problem where would be probably like a person that already knows that they want to play jazz guitar, but they are just lacking in that. They don't know the systems, they lack a lot of concepts, etc. But yeah, usually the ads always speak to this kind of problem where people, usually there are quite many of those. Obviously, you don't want to go too narrow, and you want to give them explanation in like fifth grade English so they understand very simply. Like, for instance, Gabriel here plays the jazz guitar a bit, and then he just says, are you stuck in a loop watching endless YouTube videos trying to figure out blah blah blah? Buy this jazz guitar guide. It will give you everything that you desire to learn jazz guitar. Okay, next. When it comes to digital product, usually digital product is something that obviously you don't want to give away the whole farm, but in reality, I even suggest you giving most of it away, or at least like a majority of it. Why? Because like there's a saying, like, don't give the whole farm away. We want to give value to the people, and usually I say it's 1:5 ratio. You usually want to give value that's 1:5 ratio, meaning if they buy something for like 19, you want to make 100% sure it's actually worth around like $100. Like, you put it in enough like work in the product, so it actually is worth around $100, and it's like super valuable. Why do you want to do that? Because most of the time people actually buy implementation. Here, implementation. Most of the time people actually need help implementing the things that you teach. Like, for instance, even if you're a fitness coach or you're a musician or you're a dancer, most of the time people like to learn, and they don't want to get scammed. They want a good deal, and they want to learn fast. But a lot of times, to learn actually on the level that they want to, they actually need more help. So for this reason alone, I would always say don't be scared of giving it away. And if you ask, what do you actually give? There's like PDFs, videos. You can give away a bunch of stuff that can actually help them on the journey. Maybe make it like one step closer to the goal that they actually, or even 3-4 steps closer to the goal. Because at some point, they're still going to have issues of actually getting to the place that they want. Like, for instance, if you sell something along the lines of get a 6-pack in 6 weeks, maybe they're actually going to get a 6-pack in 6 weeks through your digital product, but they're also going to want, for instance, like big biceps or triceps, or for instance, etc. Yeah. So for that reason alone, I would always say give value, something 1:5, what to make. You can always create books, you can always film videos, you can always do a bunch of stuff these days. You can do a lot. What I wouldn't recommend is just generating something in ChatGPT that usually it could convert still, but is just going to be low value. Okay, moving along. And yeah, just to keep in mind, give away a lot so there's good value, and sell implementation. So implementation meaning that you actually take them by the hand and actually bring them closer to their goal. Okay, now about the landing page. Landing page in general is just a place where you explain what is inside the product that you're actually selling. In an essence, it's like selling e-com products. It's like selling like boots or notebooks or anything along the lines of those kind of products. But in this scenario, you're actually selling like your own stuff, like you're selling your own knowledge. So for that reason, you just want to highlight the things that they're actually getting so they can understand if this is actually for them. Like, for instance, Gabriel just literally points out in the first seconds what the people would get. Yeah. Like, for instance, you will understand chords and harmonies. You will master, I don't even know what that is, but you will master 2s, 5s, and 6. You will use drop chords, shell voicings, improve triads, etc. Yeah, obviously you have to use the lingo that's for your audience, because that's the only way you can actually convince people that you actually understand something. of the things that you're talking about. Do you feel this way about just jazz? Usually we will talk about problem underneath. Yeah. So we can actually, this is called like gap in selling, when you actually create a gap, when you pinpoint the things that actually are hurting, for instance, for that kind of, for that person. Then you actually maybe have like a VSL in there. VSL stands for video sales letter. Then you actually would have a visual that actually shows the product. Yeah, usually you would want to show the product so they actually understand it, maybe tailor it to the way that they would see it, that it's actually for them. Like, for instance, a big guitar on the left, give it a price tag so they know exactly how much it costs, what exactly are they getting. Usually I like like two-step forms on the first page, but there's scenarios where you can actually do like second page checkouts. Usually you can be, if you do two-page checkouts, there's a good thing about it that you can convey more information about bumps and things like that increase the average order value. I'll explain that in probably a different video, because it's a topic of its own, or at the end of this video. And yeah, on the bottom, maybe you allow people to browse it, then you give info about the person, and then you actually give some testimonials that you've gotten from your previous customers, and voila, you actually are selling something for $29.19. In reality, I would recommend always starting on lower end of the spectrum, meaning like you actually want to sell something for, like, my recommendation is always like $7, $9, $19, because that's the amount of money that's very easily sold over the internet. And usually, and I'll give you a hack, if it's like 7, 9, or 19, most of the time your cost per purchase, meaning like how much it costs you to actually generate one purchase, is going to be quite low, which actually just means that all you have to do to increase the average order value, which is a more advanced topic in the future, you just need to add like bumps and upsells and downsells and things like that. And imagine if you have like a $7 product on the front, usually you're going to have cost per purchase around 10, 7, 10, 14 maybe, yeah. And usually with bumps, upsells, and downsells, you can easily get the average order value quite high. But that's a topic for a different day. Just wanted to give you a concept of how you can actually get a bunch of clients in if you're an expert and you actually like understand and you have expertise of a certain topics that you specialize in. So just to summarize, very low CAC, high response rate, meaning it's easy to get these people on calls. There's usually high conversion rate. You can usually, obviously, if they haven't consumed it, that's a different topic. There's scenarios where people don't consume the digital goods. You usually get money that you spent on advertising back because you actually liquidated the spend. Money comes back instantly. That's what I was trying to say with the low CAC. Yeah, because the money that you're spending on advertising is actually coming back into your accounts. Usually, yeah, as I mentioned, you get people easily to start a conversation with you. You have lists of people, you can segregate them, which means you can actually send them emails or get them on calls. You get instantly money back through Stripe usually, and the money comes usually back in like 4 to 7 days. This is really good if you have specialized knowledge, because you can give people first steps of the whole thing. You want to make it super valuable, so they actually find value in it and don't think that you actually generated that with ChatGPT in one afternoon. And you want to make sure that you give them the info, but sell the implementation. That's usually the service. That's how everyone usually does it. It works really well. That's the reason why everybody does it. When it comes to ads, you want to make sure you go for problem stage people. So this means people that they know that they actually have a problem and they want to learn, for instance, jazz guitar or singing or dancing or anything of those sorts. Don't go for people that are super aware or super unaware. And when it comes to landing page, keep it super simple. Make it usually the pictures that are with you work best, especially if you have some craft that you do that you can actually make a picture of. For instance, me sitting at a computer doesn't really convey a lot, but for instance, Gabriel holding a guitar is very powerful first picture. Yeah, show them usually what kind of problems they struggle with. Give them a VSL so they can actually trust you more. make a mock-up, add the pricing, and usually keep it simple, keep it on one page. Usually for the first trials, I would keep it on one page. Then in the future, you can move it to two-step checkouts, give them opportunity to actually scroll through the product if they actually can, give them info about themselves. People don't trust a lot of these days other people because of AI and a lot of these kind of things. Maybe I would also, we actually on the new versions of we actually have YouTube videos here. Yeah, so people can actually watch something so they can consume the content. I would recommend also for you to have some kind of proof, and obviously testimonials. Yeah, and there's a bunch more, but I didn't include them. And that's basically, and the whole point is just to have a lot of clients, usually done through selling on the back end. So just to last few words. So there's low ticket on the front end. Yeah, low ticket meaning low ticket digital product that leads usually into upsells, downsells, ads like bumps. And usually you can use those contacts to sell your high ticket. Usually high ticket is something that you personalize, like you help people a lot and you actually handhold them so they actually get the results. And this is how you easily can build trust with people, because low ticket educates them, it gives value. It also helps liquidating the ad spend. Yeah, it builds value. There's a lot of good stuff here. Yeah, allows them to consume more content from you, easier to sell them on high ticket, and bump, upsell, downsells. That's probably for another call, and also the math behind it we could talk about in another call. Hope you found value in this. Yeah, my name's Thomas.